everyone, welcome to Briar Haus Writes. I'm Becky Parker. Today it is my honor to have acclaimed author and poet with us, Miss Anne Pluto. She is a professor of literature at Lesley College in Cambridge, Massachusetts. She is an alumna of Shakespeare and Company and was a member of Worcester's Signature Shakespeare Company from 2011 to 2016. She is one of the founders and editors of Nix's Mate Review and Nate's Mate Books. She's an accomplished author and poet, and I'm very much pleased to have you on the program today, Anne. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
I always joke on my bios and say I grew up in Brooklyn before it was cool.
Oh,
And when I grew up in Brooklyn, it was a tougher place. It was a lot of working class people. It was great. Now you can't touch it to live there. It's so expensive, which is always intriguing to me how neighborhoods, or in this case, a borough in Brooklyn, in New York City, really changed. So I grew up in a immigrant family. I'm first generation American, and they spoke several languages in my house, and I had to go to speech therapy as a kid because of my S sounds. I have no idea what I sounded like. So that propelled me probably to find the hardest English that existed. And so began my, love for Shakespeare. And I did a lot of acting as a student in elementary and high school, and then my parents squelched my going to college or to a conservatory for theater. So I ended up doing English and going BA and an MA and a PhD, which was fine. I got to do everything I wanted to do. And then at 33, I went and uh, trained at Shakespeare and Company and ended up working with the Worcester Shakespeare Company for several years. But I started at Shakespeare Company at Lesley University.
oh, you did.
And yes, I did. And that went for a good 25 years that we had a big Shakespeare production every spring because of COVID and budgets. So now I work with the Performing Arts Club, and it's great that these kids want to do Shakespeare. So I'm still doing it. But I haven't acted in a while, which I miss. So hopefully I'll go back to that. But the other part of my creative journey is writing. So I always wrote poetry as a kid. I wrote stories, but I focused on poetry, and I worked on several small press magazines in Boston. We had a very big small press scene in the late 80s, early 90s, and it vanished. But then, believe it or not, with the genesis of Zoom and the internet, a lot of magazines popped up online, and we created other journals that were not print. So I work with my publishing partner, Michael McGinnis, and we started Nix's Mate, which is named after an island in the Boston Harbor where they used to hang the pirates. And now it's only a navigational hazard. I mean, it's eroded, but it has a buoy on it, and you can look it up. And the picture is on our website of what it looks like. So we started Nix's Mate, 2000, I'm going to say 16. I could be wrong, it might be 18, before COVID. And then, with the advent of COVID, online publications were great, and also doing online readings, as here you are interviewing me on Zoom.
Right.
It makes things different and easier. And then we started going back to print. So we're now doing our journal in print and online, and we do books also. We publish books of
And what do you
poetry.
think the future of your magazine will be? In 50 years, with the advent of COVID, it changed how you presented your educational series and how you
Right.
present your online. So what do you think it'll be like in 50 years?
I don't know, maybe someone will find print editions of our books in, old bookstores. I mean, obviously Michael and I will be long gone. I don't know, I don't know who will pick up the mantle, so to speak. of a lot of small presses. We're a small press. We're not
Hmm.
anybody like Gray Wolf, who is an established press that probably has a schedule and they know who they're publishing probably a few years in advance. Like we don't work like that. But we're part of the Boston literary scene, and we are probably one of the only presses in Boston itself, like Boston
Wow.
proper, within all the boroughs in New York, with all the neighborhoods in Boston. But there are several, there's press in Cambridge and Somerville that we're close with, Cervena Barva, and then
Hmm.
The Lily Press, which is they're outside of Boston, but they're not like in Boston, but we're all close, the three of us.
What an amazing gift that you give to the community, though. I mean, goodness.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I don't think about it because we do it, like we do it and we love it and we have full-time jobs. So
Well,
it's a labor of love. It's not like we're making money, doing this. We have to go to work, but we
well, I
love
wanted to
it.
ask
So
you about your different scheduling commitments. How do you manage to be able to write amongst
mm,
all of your other commitments? How do you balance
it's
all of
di
that?
it's really difficult. I wish I was a more scheduled person. That I could say that I got up at 6 and I wrote from 7 to 9 and then, started my job, my teaching, my professional job.
Hmm.
I don't because in higher ed, your schedule changes
Right.
and there are meetings and there are emergencies with students or something goes wrong. Or this year I had to move out of an office I'd been in 38 years.
Oh, goodness.
So I did it along with one of my building mates downstairs. We made that last 2 week push. We were there every day helping each other because it was during break. A lot of things happen. I have a dog. I have a daughter. Things happen. Like you have to take care of them. So I write when I can. And then in the summer when I'm off, which really is the blessing of academia or
Hmm.
teaching any grade, if you can afford not to then have a job
Right.
in the summer, that's when you do a lot of creative work or during breaks.
What stirs your creative passions?
Yeah, yeah. And life is everything is an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity to be inspired. Things happen every day, so.
Hmm. Are there
And
anything that presents a challenge when you're trying to write something? Not just outside influences, but are there any internal things that you face? Maybe a writer's block, or the topic may be
mm,
very hard.
I don't mind hard topics. Like I'm good at that. So that's easier for me. If something's going wrong or if I'm in a painful place, and I will read a few of these poems. My husband passed away and he was in home hospice care. Thank you. In the fall of 2021. I'm sorry, and he died 22 in January. Um, I wrote even then, like I just took little notes on pieces of paper and then they became poems. And then they became, a big part of the book that then came out after that. So hard things I don't shy away from putting them in paper. Um, I also try to use the newspaper
Mhm.
as inspiration for lines.
Oh,
For found lines and then take off from there. Um, so yeah, I get the Times, so I look at that, or the Globe, or anything that I can find. Um, I think my dog is the worst thing. She's so needy. She's on my lap right now. Because something happens and I have to walk her, and then that's an hour here, an hour there. Not that that's bad, but
it does
sometimes it
eat into
it
your
takes
time.
away. Yeah, it eats away from like remembering something.
When you're in the middle of a class and you're teaching, do you ever
Yeah.
have something in the back of your head you think, oh my gosh, I should write about this? Do you ever have those moments where,
I have lines that come to me, but I can scribble them down, because I have
okay,
a notebook open. And yes, I do still write on paper with a pen. I
And
think
you
it's
know,
our generation. Like we like paper.
yes, and some people that's just their writing style. They'll write it on paper and then they'll
Uh,
convert it later. Um,
right.
so Anne, would you read some of your work for us? I'd
Sure,
love to hear
yeah.
it.
Yeah, this is new. I'll read you something new. See, the dog's looking at me like, what? What? You moved your hand
Well,
from
now you
me?
have to show us your dog. You have to
Oh, wait,
lift him.
I'll show you. Wait, here she is. She's very
Oh,
cute. She's
she
a
is.
French bulldog. We call her the baby dragon or the French menace. But we'll get away from that. All right, this is called You Offered Me Your Horses, and it's for my brother-in-law, Jody. We strayed at the table with music you had copied out by hand. Girl crush. You on ukulele, me on guitar. We were going to play it till we got it. The other pickers had wandered off to the desserts, the TV, the family conversations, your mother, the teenagers ignoring us, bored with family Christmas and aching to go home. Everything smells like wood, like pine cones. You taught me how to use them to build a fire. I'm too warm in my long red sweater, not used to the noise, the commotion. It's almost close to perfect. You knew how underneath my politeness, I was far, far away from home. Before we left, you offered me your horses, as if I had a place to board them. Your brother, my husband, scheming how to make it happen. For me, the gesture was gift enough. Outside, away from the fire, the planets shine in the ice black sky. The teenager who told me how much he hated school had warmed up by then. We trace the path of a shooting star. Oh God, I wish I had hugged him tighter, his future plotted out with gangs and gunfights and prison. Jesus, save him, only to die in bed beside his young, expectant wife. His mother never got to touch his face, her beautiful, wild boy, presented only with a small box of bone ash, and then his baby. But let's go back to that Christmas among the stars. He leans his head on my shoulder, points to the dark, shiny heaven, the horses forever stamping in the barn where you have gone to feed them, bed them down. I still hear them calling out, prepare yourself. They're all gone now. My husband, your mother, our sister-in-law, and the boy who hated school. The horses, too. We'll never be that family holiday card again.
I
Thank
love your
you.
work. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You made my day.
And such a hard thing to write about, but you did it so eloquently.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah, death is hard to write about. And the death of young people is very hard to write
It
about.
is.
Without, I hate to say this, without being a cliche. All right. We'll change gears a little here. This is new also. It's called Paradise. One. My young grandmother on her knees, begging her husband not to take them back, that leaving America was like God sending Adam and Eve out of paradise. When she returned, the old country within a new border, language is forever the only homeland. A careful midwife, she made sure the baby was not born. Then 3 more live births. My father eating snow, eating sand, shredding bullets, America, kept his eyes on the prize and entered paradise. Paperwork intact, border crossing, my mother waiting. You tell me that you live in paradise. Palm trees, giant redwoods, endless ocean, the view from the mesa, a fast ride into the desert, kick up all that dust, pure bliss on a wide open road. It skipped a generation. I didn't know I could name it. Imagine it on a map. The child of immigrants. There is no welcome mat, no door that appeared, and I came to a city 2,500 miles away. This is not my paradise. 3. When you're a first gen American, you don't get paradise, you get work. I'm a woman. I got a career. I got a lecture. Don't rely on a man to take care of you. In Eden, four rivers meet. The trees grow huge. The animals keep us company. And I am not afraid of snakes. I've been eating the fruit of the tree of knowledge for years. Large pomegranates cracked open in the hands of Mary. Everything a seated offering, an opportunity. I want to taste from the tree of life. We were expelled long before our births, but the rivers run to the sea, to the desert, to the Yucca brevifolia, native to the Southwest, native to your paradise. Thank you.
I think the river runs very deep in you.
Oh, maybe some
I think
kind
it
of river.
does.
Some
Deep
river
calls to
does.
deep.
Yes, deep calls to deep. Do you want another one?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
You know I do.
all right. Well, I gotta find it's a good one. All right, here's one. Okay. This one's called Metaphysical August. 2:45 a.m. 3 knocks to wake me. My heart pounds. 3 knocks to take me. My heart between my legs, I can't move. Ease back into the dream. No street lights in Brooklyn. I'm alone on a corner I haven't seen in over 50 years. There's only one way forward, to the boy. Standing at the door, backlit, he looks the same, handsome as memory. He's been waiting. Upstairs in his mother's parlor on the sofa, leaning towards him in the chair. I'm so afraid. The tears come easily. My hair long and dark, but I'm not that innocent girl. In the soft light, his eyes are not young. My hands in his. It'll be all right. Don't be afraid. We lay together tender, my head on his heart. He hums a song we both love. And I sleep, deep, untroubled, double sleep in my bed, laced into his mother's sofa. In the late morning, it's still summer. I've slept hot, going through messages. There's one from him. If you want another cowboy, I've got boots and I can travel. My heart stops. Thank you. Thank you.
And are you currently working on a project?
Yes, I am. I'm working on a new collection of poems, and Paradise is the working title, and then that poem would be the central poem of that. And I'm doing a wonderful manuscript workshop with the poet Jennifer Franklin and like 8 other people, and we're in our second round of Tuesday nights, which is really it's great. I've been getting so much great feedback. And because I also have to have like 2 other projects, I'm working on a book of acrostic poetry with a childhood friend who's a wonderful photographer, and her name is Lisa Levine. So I'm writing poems to her photographs.
So she provides the photographs and then you
Yes.
write.
Yeah. And I would see them, like she'd post them. She found me after, I don't know, 45 years. We used to be very close friends in elementary to middle school. I'm sorry, junior high school in New York. And she lives in California. And we talk on Zoom, and her like photos would just talk to me, and I would write these poems, and then that started the process.
Wow, I can't wait for that one to come
Oh,
out.
thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, we've got a few more to do.
And I wanted to ask you if you could go back in history and meet Shakespeare, What would you say to him? And what play would you wish for to perform in where he was the director?
Oh, okay. So, I don't believe William Shakespeare wrote the plays. I'm one of these people who believe Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, was the writer. So I'd meet Oxford and not William
And not
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Yeah. So I would say to him, all right, let's talk about why you couldn't put your name on manuscripts because I want to take that story back to my students. Let's get everybody's doing the research, everybody, in that group. And there's a lot of people now. And then I would say, all right, I want you to direct me in Richard III. I want to play Margaret of Anjou. So
Oh.
she's on my bucket list. I haven't played her.
And what
That's
would
what I would do.
I love that? And gosh, what a great lecture series that would be.
Yes, wouldn't that be a lot of
Would
fun?
be. I wish we could time travel. That I would love that. Um,
Yes.
and tell me about what advice would you give an aspiring writer or burgeoning poet that maybe help you move forward with your work or would help them move forward with their writing?
Well, I talk a lot to my students and they're in college, but if I were to say this to even a younger person, I would say just write. Write what comes to you. I've worked with teachers too who teach, elementary school, and we talk a lot about how do you, what kind of lecture, what kind of lesson plans do you have? Play with language, like make it your friend. And if you get the punctuation wrong, big deal. Play with it. And that's how you can learn like what these marks mean on the page and how powerful they are, like at your fingertips now, or with your pen, like where are the stops? Where do you breathe? I think I would talk a lot about where do you breathe? Where do you take the break? And be playful, like, have fun. Writing should be a joyful event, even if you're writing about something painful. I mean, you should enjoy the process.
And it doesn't always have to rhyme.
Oh God, no, you don't have to rhyme. I mean, Shakespeare does really well with rhyme, and then he got rid of it too. He didn't keep to that strict iambic pentameter and the rhyming lines. Rhyme in the middle of the line. Rhyme at the beginning of the line. Don't rhyme at all. Do off rhymes.
Do you have a particular form that you enjoy writing?
I do a lot of blank verse. I do a lot of lyric poetry. So I'm not big with form, but I have to say, yeah, I do gravitate a lot towards sonnets, 14 lines. I find myself going there more and more and breaking things up. But see, I need a class to do that for somebody to say, well, maybe you could do it this way. Otherwise, I would just write, straight down the page. So I'm playing more. No, I don't have a favorite form. No.
Some writers really believe that, a form keeps them focused, but it sounds like
Right.
that you're able to be focused even in the middle of all your other activities just by
Yeah.
writing from your heart and what you want to.
Yeah, I don't need a form to focus me. I think a form would betray me to start with the form. Like it would make me antsy.
And would you read some more of your work? I would love to hear it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. I can read from my most recent book.
Yes. Tell us the name of your book.
It's How Many Miles to Babylon, and it's Lily Poetry Review Press, and came out in 23 in the fall. Oh, these are sad things, but okay.
Was it hard for you to be able to get your book published?
No, I had when my husband was dying, it was time to apply for a sabbatical. And I did because I thought you're going to need some time when he finally passes to like regroup. And I applied for a year. And my project was to work on the acrostic book with Lisa Levine.
Hmm.
But then I had another manuscript, and I got the sabbatical. Then I had another manuscript, and I went to the Lily on the Cove, which is put out by the Lily Poetry Review. They do a manuscript workshop on Cape Cod, and I went, and I had a manuscript, and they wanted it. So that ended up being the book that I worked on during my sabbatical, and push the other book
To the wayside
forward.
for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I did. Um, all right, a dog in bed. Your death was easier in winter. The dog's still alive, my constant companion, learning to navigate the world with only his right eye. I had to bring myself completely to the table, the one where I hand fed him on the kitchen floor, disguising medications to look and taste like treats. He was brave. That cold January afternoon when you died, he sat next to me, suspended, the pewter silence of the new year pressing in my throat. The hospice nurse came to fill out papers, and the funeral director sent two young men. They were late. It was a good day for death, and we waited, warped in silence. When they arrived, the dog walked to the fence to guide them in, patiently sitting by the hospital bed as they wrapped you in your sheet, lifted your washed and broken body onto a gurney. The dog watched. They zipped, and once again he led them out to the gate. I turned off the bed, the mattress deflating, the snake-like hissing at its unnatural end. All is silence. That night, I still slept on the couch. I had forgotten how to use a bed.
Mhm.
I have one more. I'll leave it with this. I really like this poem. It's called El Paso. I thought perhaps you were here, the house so dark that even the dead could find their way back. How is it that you are gone? I tried to find the portal, the hole in the sky that would open and you would rise from your broken body and touch the gate, where those ponies lost in childhood to terrible accidental deaths were whole and grazing, lifting their magnificent heads in weight. And you, a child in a big hat, broken in boots and silver spurs with jingle bobs that sing and rake the pasture. The trail you left behind, only a hole in the sky. The wolf moon beckoning forward, the house silent and the dog finally at rest. The winter, this winter, and you in that Texas pasture, tenderly resting your face in the neck of your first pony, the paint horse from El Paso. Let everything be made holy again. Thank
And you
you.
write so beautifully. It's very descriptive and just
Thank
puts
you
you right
so
there with the
much.
pony. It's just beautiful. What a
Thank
beautiful
you.
memory. I love
Yeah.
that. And tell us about um, what you hope that your future will be with your writing. Like, what do you want your legacy to be when people see your work?
I would like people to be inspired by my work and that you can write about pain and not be maudlin. And you can write about hope even when the world is sinking. And that you can write about love and not be a Hallmark greeting card. That you can write and not exactly be sentimental or morbid. Um, and
That you
that
can get up off the page and go, okay.
Yeah, and you can get up off the page. I just would like to inspire other writers. I also write fiction, and I'm working on a book with a friend, so I would like that to be my legacy too, that the two novels, and I hope to, push that along.
So, what is your fiction book about?
Oh, well, one of them is set in New Orleans, and I've worked on it for many years, and it's a ghost story and a love story, and yeah, we'll leave that there. And then the other book it's a murder mystery, and I'm writing with another person. It's called The Virgin Bitch. That's the title of a statue. Yeah, and it's also a love story and has two narrators, two women. So, and my other book does too. So I'm really interested in women's friendships and how women see themselves through trial, through really terrible stuff.
Is your
And
writer collaborator a female?
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. We've been friends. We started a theater company together. We know each other very well. Yeah.
I love that you can collaborate with someone.
Yeah, we
Um,
write the different characters. So because it's told like in journals, almost like epistolary style, like which was 18th century. It was a big epistolary movement in literature, first novels, lots
See,
of
that's like my
narrators.
favorite
Yeah.
kind of book is a historical book that's like a mystery. I love those. It's
Yeah,
like,
that it takes place in like 2016. So, but it's like split between Brooklyn and Boston, and there's a convent and a college. There's lots of good stuff.
oh gosh, I cannot wait for that to come out.
Oh,
I,
thank you.
I want to
I'll
encourage
keep
you to get that
I'll
written.
keep you posted. It's written. There's 800 pages. We're cutting it.
Oh wow.
It's written. It has to be trimmed.
Well, I cannot wait for that to come out.
Oh,
Well,
thank
Anne, thank
you.
you so much for taking the time with us today at Briar House Writes.
Thank you so much. It was great meeting you.